Imagine if the Terminator walked into a Denny's at 3 a.m. Instead of a steely Austrian cyborg, you got a manic, sleep-deprived Sam Rockwell, and the whole thing was ghost-directed by Rod Serling on a massive sugar crash. This is the precise, chaotic energy of good luck, have fun, don't die. It's a film that wants to be a sci-fi actioner, a dark comedy anthology, and a commentary on our digital addiction all at once. Visually, it oscillates between grounded, gritty character work and the hallucinogenic texture, literally. There is a recurring visual motif, this weird shimmering swirl effect on the screen that looks like dead pixels or a projector malfunction, but it is actually a stylistic choice representing Wi-Fi waves. The invisible soup we're all swimming in? It's distinct, I'll give it that. Gore Verbinski is back, and you know his track record from Rango to A Cure for Wellness. You know he doesn't want to be normal, but does this high concept, erratic energy sustain a full runtime, or does the battery die before we reach the credits? I'm going to break down whether this is a cult classic in the making or a glitch in the system, so if you know if it's worth your time. The setup is deceptively simple, bordering on a classic B-movie territory. We open in a Los Angeles diner, the universal sanctuary for the lost and the hungry. Enter Sam Rockwell, credited simply as the man from the future. He isn't sleek, he isn't cool, he crashes into this timeline with this desperate urgency of a man who knows the sky is falling because he's already seen it hit the ground. His mission: to recruit the random patrons of this restaurant to stop a rogue artificial intelligence from wiping out humanity. But before we settle into the booth, the film takes a structural detour, operating almost like an anthology to show us why these specific people are the chosen ones. It's not a chronological dump, it's a series of vignettes establishing the world's creeping technophobia. We see a segment involving teachers being hunted by students who have been effectively zombified by their smartphones. A sequence that balances the genuine tension with absurd humor. We see a grieving mother who utilized technology to clone her son following a school shooting. A segment that starts incredibly dark before finding the weird tonal balance. And we meet a princess figure, played by Haley Lou Richardson, whose severe allergy to electronics has turned her life into a pre-digital isolation chamber. Rockwell is the glue trying to hold these disparate, damaged people together. The stakes are the standard save the world fare, but the conflict in the first act is far more interesting. It's about convincing a group of broken people that they actually matter enough to save it. Let's talk about the engine driving this thing, Sam Rockwell. If you've seen Moon or Seven Psychopaths, you know Rockwell can do Unhinged better than almost anyone working today. He starts this movie at an 11. There is no ramp up. He lands in the diner with this frantic, sweaty magnetism that immediately hooks you. It's hilarious, it's timely, and frankly, it's the only thing keeping the early exposition from feeling like a lecture. He sells the absurdity of the premise with such conviction that you stop asking how, but just asking what's next. And what's next is where the movie really shines, at least for the first 2/3. The decision to structure the recruitment phase like a mini anthology was a gamble, but I think it pays off. Instead of a boring montage, we get these fully fleshed out short films about team members. The segment with the teachers being hunted down by students, it's pure genre bliss. It plays like a high-octane zombie flick, but the zombies are just kids controlled by their phones. It's biting satire, sure, but it's almost shot like with this kinetic, terrifying energy. There's a specific texture to these scenes and throughout the film, actually, that I need to mention. There is this weird shimmering swirl overlay on the image. At first, I honestly thought it was the projector at the theater was dying, but it's a deliberate creative choice representing the omnipresent Wi-Fi waves or the digital noise suffocating the characters. It gives the film a gritty, almost dirty tactile feel that you rarely get in clean digital sci-fi these days. Then you see the segment with the mother who clones her son after a school shooting. This is where the movie walks a tightrope over a pit of vipers. It starts out incredibly dark, uncomfortably so actually. You're sitting there thinking, okay, this is too heavy for a movie with Sam Rockwell screaming about time travel. But somehow, Verbinski finds the footing. He balances the grief with the sci-fi tone so it doesn't feel exploitative. It feels grounded in human loss. That grounded nature is the film's biggest strength. until it isn't. This is where we have to talk about the drop-off. For a movie that spends so much time building a tactile specific world, the third act feels like it was airlifted in from a completely different, much cheaper blockbuster. The grounded vibe evaporates. Suddenly, we aren't dealing with creepy, subtle tech horrors anymore. We are dealing with a giant CGI-generated AI monster. The rules of the universe, which felt tight and punchy in the diner and the anthology segment, just sort of dissolved. I found myself lost in a cool mystery way, but in a wait, why can we do that now way. The confrontation with the main antagonist is punishingly long. It drags. You can feel the editor struggling to find a rhythm, but it's just noise and pixels. It's a shame because the practical sets and the character work in the first hour or so are incredibly strong, and then we get washed away in a digital soup that lacks any of that initial personality. Now I'm dancing around the specifics because the way this resolves is actually fascinating, even if the action leads up is messy. There are some wild high concept stuff that happens in the final 10 minutes, specifically regarding the timeline and the nature of AI. That I won't touch on here because this is a spoiler-free review. Because despite me not being a fan of the third act, I felt the actual ending really stuck the landing. So is good luck, have fun, don't die worth the price of admission? Despite the clumsy third act, I'm going to say yes, it's a mess, but it's an ambiguous, entertaining mess. You're paying for Sam Rockwell's manic energy, you're paying for the distinct visual style of those anthology segments, and you're paying for a sci-fi comedy that actually tries to say something about our addiction to screens without sounding like a boomer PSA. It's manic, it's absurd, and when it works, it's awesome. Just lower your expectations for the big boss fight, and you'll have a good time. I'm giving Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die 3.5 out of 5 stars. Have you seen Good Luck? Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of it. Was I being too harsh with the final boss segment? Also, check out my ending explained above. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, consider subscribing and joining our YouTube memberships for only 99 cents if you're interested in helping the channel grow. And I'll see you later.